Let's talk about Prince Harry. You will have noted his long-running legal saga as he sued his father's government, the British government, demanding that he receives armed police protection whenever he visits this country. It went on for ages. He lost, then he appealed, and he lost the appeal, and then he appealed again. After the first appeal, the judge said, look, mate, he didn't actually use those terms. He said, you're never going to win this case. I advise that you abandon it. But he didn't. He's a stubborn, entitled little fool. So he carried on. Now, this is going to cost him a fortune, about £1.5 million at least. Turns out that the last appeal cost another £100,000, £102,000 to be precise. Hitherto, his legal bill stood at, this is the Home Office legal bill, stood at £656,000. And then he went, about a month ago into court again, another £100,000. So the Home Office's legal bill is £250,000, £750,000. Now, a judge at one point in this long-running saga said they expected Harry to obviously foot our bill, the British public bill, 90%. Well, why not 100%? This is a fatuous lawsuit. We shouldn't be paying for it. Let's speak to former government minister and the author of "And What Do You Do? What the Royal Family Don't Want You to Know," which was a great book about the royal family's money. They don't want you to know about their money, trust me. So a warm welcome to Norman Baker. Thanks for joining us, Norman.
Hello, Kevin.
Look. This guy, if he wants to go and waste £1.5 million, which is basically what it was, it could be more, fine. In fact, on the basis that we get full reimbursement for the Home Office's legal costs, having to foot the bill for this ludicrous, fatuous pursuit of armed police protection by a man who lives in California, fine. But one of the judges halfway through this thought that perhaps Harry should pay 90% of our bill. I say 100%. This is ludicrous to suggest anything else, isn't it?
Well, I think probably 100% is right, but I mean, these are matters for judges to rule on. What I would say is I find it extraordinary that when he's been told he's going to comprehensively lose, that was a phrase used, he's like a dog with a bone who won't let go of this. And his case isn't very strong. He says he doesn't feel safe in this country, can't bring his children to this country. He may not know this, but last year in the UK, there were 22 gun murders in the UK. In America, there were 41,000 gun incidents. There were 503 mass shootings. So I just say to him, in which country are you more likely to be in danger, the US or the UK?
Well, do you remember, Norman, when he was last in court, when he turned up unexpectedly for his latest appeal, which he once again comprehensively lost, rather humiliatingly. There he is sitting there, oh, it's so dangerous when I come here, Britain, so I can't bring my how sad, I won't be able to bring my family here, won't be able to show my children my home country because it's so unsafe. And then he got on a plane and went to Ukraine.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's complete nonsense, isn't it? I mean, nothing he says stacks up. He says he may be at risk of being attacked by a terrorist because of his service in the British Army. Well, that may or may not be true. But if he is a target for terrorists, they can target him in the US as much as they can in the UK.
Of course they can. Of course they can. Now, one of the aspects of this long-running saga was he said, do you remember after he lost the last time, he went back to California via Ukraine, went back to California and then sat down and gave that rather petulant interview in which he revealed his dad doesn't talk to him anymore, and he's the victim of a sort of shadowy conspiracy between his father and shady figures in the establishment and the government who want him dead and all this kind of stuff. He sat down and gave that interview, and in the middle of the interview he said, I wish, clearly this is an establishment stitch-up. He said, I wish someone had told me along the way that I had no chance of winning. Well, I'll tell you who told him that. It was the second appeal. Appeal, the judge at the end of it said, I'm paraphrasing, he said, listen, mate, this is a lost cause. You will never, ever win this case. So when he says, nobody told me, that's just not true.
Well, it's not true, and I think that was a very unfortunate interview he gave. Look, I'm no fan of the royal family, Kevin, as you know, but there's no question about our judges being independent. They're independent. They reach their own judicial decisions without any interference from the government or the royal family or anyone else. That's one of the strengths of this country about the system, the legal system in this country. So, when he says that, it's unfortunate. It's casting aspersions on this country and the legal system. The other thing that was unfortunate, in my view, was saying, I don't know how long my father will last. I mean, that was a pretty tasteless thing to say, to be honest with you.
It really, really was. That was a long side revealing that Charles doesn't talk to him anymore, and who can blame him for that? It really was a strange saga. This entitled little man who just, as you said, like a dog with a bone, he would not drop it. He kept being told it's not going to succeed. And the final judge said, and this is where I think Harry has difficulties trying to understand the way the real world works. The judge said, I understand your emotion, I understand your passion about that, but you saying it's just not fair, please can I have armed protection, does not amount to a legal argument. It's not a legal argument. So the legal case, the defence, the state of Britain's defence, never changed from day one. And it was ratified by judge after judge after judge. Harry didn't seem to understand that was always going to stick.
I kind of wonder to what extent he's being driven by Meghan for this. Who I think has a dislike for this country and has instilled that probably in Harry and created images in his own mind about his own country. And I think that's part of it. When he says you're not feeling safe over here, she doesn't want to come over here, does she? And I think she's trying to make him feel the same way. It's a bit of a John and Yoko syndrome between the two of those two.
That's a good analogy. I think you're exactly right. I've always said, right from the time of Megxit, when they first sort of skedaddled across the Atlantic to Canada and then California, I think it was 2020, was it? About 5 years ago now. Right from then, I said, Meghan, will never set foot in this country again. I think she despises Britain. She hated her time here, and she ain't coming back.
No, she's not. And I feel quite sorry for Harry because he's now on his own out there. He's in an alien environment. She's very happy. She feels very much at home. And he's lost everything. He's lost his family. He's lost his country. And he's stuck out there, in an alien environment. And I don't think he'll ever recover from that.
And he pursued a very unwise legal case that's going to cost him the best part of £2 million. He's an idiot. Norman, good to talk to you. Thank you very much. That's Norman Baker, former government minister, but he wrote a very interesting book called What the Royal Family Don't Want You to Know. It's all about their finances.